Current favorite.
The NHK. It's so funny.
Mine would be, I used to be in a looping group, and we did a lot of Roger Corman, Emmanuel movies, and it would have been that one where I panted heavily for looping. So, no, sorry.
Mary Romanos told you it sounded too much like running.
She said too much lip smacking. I go, I'm sorry. Look at the screen. No. PG-13, sorry.
You know what? When I say the word unplugged, that's different. Wow. I've had a chance to do some really cool ones. Actually, you know what I think was the two things that I've had a chance to do based upon things that I grew up with that I loved. I was the voice of Foghorn Leghorn in Baby Looney Tunes, and that's definitely and that is just about the coolest thing in the world. And who hasn't seen Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Is that about a communist animal?
That's the one. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Anyway, but there's a sequel called Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Toys.
Not if you don't mind my being a dentist. I'm independent.
You never care about Bumbles? Bumbles bounce! So I got to be Hermie the Elf and Yukon Cornelius and Coach Connor. Ah! You know, and I went, and I've seen comparisons, and it's one of the few times in my life I went, it's almost indistinguishable. But I was so tripping, because that was my pop culture, and I got to step into my own pop culture,
right.
and it, you know the roller coaster that everybody wanted was, you know, nobody wants a Charlie in the box. I also realized that dentist was pretty much a metaphor for Hermie. It was like,
Right,
why is
right.
he different?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm independent. Not if you don't mind my being a dentist.
We'll go, oh, damn, Hermie's gay. What's this, Bert and Ernie? We're not going to have that discussion. We're not going to judge, we are here to love. Anyway, that was cool.
For favorite, you're not in my panel, are you? I don't know, I'd have to say... No, it's not fam. That one's too hard. And also, I don't know, that's the thing. They're all so different. I mean, Samurai Jack was like the most amazing show to be on. But I said like 4 words per season. You know, Justice League, I got to play a character, that was like a hero, and got to be in a love triangle and on trial for murder, and I got to do it for 4 seasons. As far as breadth of performance, but I wasn't really ever a Green Lantern fan, so it wasn't like a fantasy come true. Yeah, I'm a Batman guy.
I played Batman's dog.
Ace the Bat Hound?
The Bat Hound.
Nice.
Dark dog justice.
And then there was a show I did that was very short-lived called the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy when we had it started out, it was 2 shows. It was Billy and Mandy and Grim and Evil. And it was the first time I've ever had a show get half canceled. It was just our half. It was me and Armin Shimmerman and Gray Delisle. And we all played, and Frank Welker. We played, this. I was Hector con Carne, an evil scientist trying to take over the world. But he was a disembodied brain on the top of a dancing bear, voiced by Frank Welker. And it was just such a great group of people, and Maxwell Adams was so talented, and that was the one show where we got to improvise an episode.
Wow.
Because Frank Welker, who is a god, and the bear didn't speak. The bear just made bear sounds. But one day Frank says, "You guys are so funny. This is so much fun. We should make up an episode. I mean, all the things you guys say are so fun, And then the producer listened to him and came in one day it's like, well, we didn't get a script. It's like, yeah, there isn't one. And he gave us a list of scenes and said, and we just figured you guys would just, improvise. And it was just like, and we all turned and looked at Frank. It's like, good idea. Man who don't gotta say no words.
Do we get writing credit on this thing? No, you don't.
No, it's cartoons. Although I did try to turn the tables on Frank, and because you're like making these up like, Basco, I want you to go over there, grab that chainsaw. I just made up this like long list of things. Cut down the tree, then jump on top of the tree all the way to the top and get, and lay out this whole thing. Thing impossible to actually do, especially when you don't have any words. Frank Welker then proceeded to do the sound of a bear juggling a chainsaw, sawing down a tree, and running up the top of everything I just laid out. He did the sound. And we were all just like... That was my favorite episode. Question. Girl in the green hair on the aisle. She's had those arms up for so long. Well, you're going to have to come.
You have a beautiful, soft, and lovely voice that we can't hear.
Come to the front.
Look at that press, everybody. Let's hear it for the press.
Hi, sweetie. Oh, thank you.
She can draw and walk in that dress.
Beautiful line drawing of Cora. It's absolutely stunning. Thank you so much.
Questions?
Yo, Transformer dude.
Decepticon.
Yeah.
What was it like working on Static Shock?
This one's for me. Static Shock was amazing. It was a Saturday morning show about Virgil Hawkins, who is a kid who gets electrical powers and becomes a teenage superhero. It was the first animated show with an African American teenager who had his own show. We ran for about 4 seasons. And Alan Burnett and Dwayne McDuffie and all the writers, Stan Berkowitz, and they were amazing. And they were able to craft a show that was fun and exciting, but also really heartfelt. There was an episode about a kid who brought a gun to school, and that won a Humanitas Award. But we didn't have no toys, so they canceled us.
And the toy gun one did not sell well. It's an award-winning toy.
Who's the shiniest? I go for shiny. Actually, in the back because it's motion.
My child.
Oh, I didn't even see you that. Jeez. Okay, but I said, as far back.
What are you most interested in? Or what are you, can you spill anything for us?
As to what?
In what show?
Oh, what are we working on now? All right.
Oh, plug away!
Exactly. You got the microphone down.
Working on, there's a new animated show for Fox called Murder Police, with a young kid named Jason Ruiz and David Goodman, a producer from Family Guy, and it's really tasteless, but really funny. Set in a police station. Will Sasso, Shy McBride, Jane Lynch, me, Jared Paul. Really fun cast, really funny scripts. What else? I've got a...
What about Futurama? What's happening?
Futurama is slowly fading away. No, episodes are running now on Comedy Central. Watch them a lot. Then maybe someone will say, hey, we left a pile of money on the table. Let's bring this back from the dead again. Clear! And also, I've a group of friends of mine in LA are improvisers, and we improvise a podcast every week called Blackout Television. It's at blackouttelevision.com and also on iTunes.
Not what Paula Dean called it.
Gone so soon. We will mourn Scott McNeil. But in his passing, let's find out what his final projects were.
Working on we got on the go right now? We're doing more My Little Ponies.
Is that so popular?
A little. In a terrifying kind of way. It's like, I did not bro huff. It's like, did I just bro huff someone? What does that mean?
Did you watch the movie, Scott?
I don't even know. Well, I didn't own a TV until almost a couple of years back, and I don't ever watch anything. The only thing I've ever watched that I was in was Beast Wars because it was such a good show. I didn't know, I gotta get over and watch the show. I like the little rat guy. And I have watched League of Super Evil because it's fun. Thank you for the one person that's ever the gin has arrived. Thank you. The disembodied gin. We're doing more. I think we're in season 7 now of Johnny Test for Warner Brothers. What's my going on? There is something that I can't talk about, but something that I was originally involved in, and then it moved to a different country. But a lot of people are still in favor of and it involves large flying, fire-breathing reptiles and spheroids.
How many words? How many syllables?
And the last letter of the alphabet. Yeah, so I never said that on camera.
Zelda?
Really?
Camera? I've done a bunch of video gaming lately. I've just been doing the Dungeon Master and a bunch of other stuff in Dungeons and Dragons Online, League of Legends, did some Dragons Online. I got
You must
real
have
stuff going on.
so much time on your hands.
It's awful!
Maybe I'm just imagining it all. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm working on a bunch of stuff and I can't think of it. Or I'll take the usual way out of, I have a number of projects upcoming that I'm not at liberty to discuss right now.
I have a number of projects upcoming that I'm not. Actually, sadly, because most of mine are video games, but Transformer Rescue Bots is second season begins, I think, in December. And if you guys keep watching and buying, actually, it doesn't matter if you watch it, just buy the freaking toys. From what I understand, the toys are selling really great, so that we may even come back for season 3. But season 2 starts December, and then the video games I can't talk about. So, but those they're fun. They're coming, and if you're into like genre-bending sci-fi films, I've got a film called Apocalypse Kiss coming out next year, and on camera, yeah. But the character that I play, this a narcissist serial killer, is visually patterned after Albert Wesker from Resident Evil because the producers loved the video game so much. That's why they cast me in the movie. So that's kind of cool. And then I got another film, Helen Alone, coming out with William. But you don't care about the movies. You care about the voiceover stuff. And I'm not at liberty to tell you.
I'm also working on Ninjago.
I'm coming out on a project called Peter Pan's Faust or something with Elijah Wood. It's a cool project. It's like a reimagining of the Peter Pan story in Germany. Yeah, it's like Peter Panzerfaust. It's like Peter Pan in Germany. I'm in it somehow.
What if Peter Pan was a Nazi who never grew up?
And it's about Nazis, so it's crazy.
I don't want to leave my bunker.
I actually play a new DC superhero. Actually, an old DC superhero, but I'm not at liberty to talk about it. It's coming out sometime soon, though, but it's cool.
What color's the outfit?
What color's the character?
No. It's my color. So,
Samurai, Apache chief.
no. We don't know. And then, a bunch of on-screen stuff. You can check out, one of my films just came out on iTunes with a kid named Kev Jumba called Hang Loose. So you can check that out when my production company Kinetic Films, a few more films coming out soon.
All right, Dante, one more slower.
You can check out a film I did called Hang Loose with Kev Jumba on iTunes.
There it is.
I like when your hand gestures slow down too.
As you said, hang loose.
Yes.
Yeah, mostly I would say you usually can't discuss the animes that you're doing while you're doing them until they get released. But there was one that I'm still doing that got released, and that would be Wendy and Fairy Tale. But I think another just came out, colorful, Hakuoki. Yeah, there's a few of them, but most of the stuff I'm working on right now, I can't talk about.
Can't say.
It's not allowed.
Well, most of you who follow Cora know that we have completed book 2. Bits of ADR for the end episodes. We're doing pickups for book 3, and we've just scratched the surface on book 4 already. Two full episodes with the team of book 4. I have no idea what's going on anymore because that's like working on three seasons at once. But I will say that the arc of this particular show and what they've done season to season is like just mind-blowing and beautiful and everything that you guys could want in something happening in the Avatar universe. I've also been talking a little bit about the podcast that I do. If you don't mind the sound of my voice, you can hear it a lot more. Korra fans usually report back that it's a little bit weird hearing Korra talk about non-Korra stuff, but I think maybe when you get used to it, I don't know. I've definitely interviewed a lot of really amazing women. So if you don't come for me, come for them because. I mean, just in the voiceover world, certainly Grey DeLisle, Kristen Shaw. In the non-voiceover world, Paget Brewster, Kristen Rutherford does a bunch of video game voices, amongst other things. Erin Hayes from Children's Hospital, Sarah Silverman, Tig Notaro. All the women that are on Community, Alison Brie, Yvette Nicole Brown, Gillian Jacobs. I've been really lucky. Maria Bamford, really, really lucky with the people who have done it, and there are a ton of episodes that you guys can catch up on, and it's for anybody, but we spend a lot of time kind of joking and talking about the weird nerds that we were in high school, and I think it's never bad to hear somebody like, Christina Hendricks, who's on Mad Men and the cover of magazines, talking about getting bullied. It's something that a lot of people go through, and I think we put a kind of a smile on it, but we also want anybody out there who's, a unique person with their own voice, their own feelings, and their own dreams to just get out there and like do what makes you happy. So it's a pretty upbeat podcast. I encourage you to listen to it. And boy, I really did just sell it. I'll give each one of you $1 if you listen to it. That's necessary.
My brother with the hat. Oh, really? Don't you don't have to say that just because I picked you. That's not about me. I don't think he has a question.
I will have to pick a different character.
Sit down. Sit down.
Okay.
Monkey dance your ass. Why don't you do Vam? Here, here's $800. What do you do? That's not all drama is conflict. Why can't they have a discussion about how they're going to build something for the homeless? There are too many people on the street with nothing to eat.
We could find some way to just cure poverty. We wouldn't have to do this anymore. We wouldn't have to live in a state of conflict and anger.
All I've ever wanted is for world peace.
Person holding up a roll of paper.
I have one question and I have a bit for Janet.
It's Christmas.
You guys ever get weird, awkward lines where you're reading a script and you're like, what?
Why does the tentacle have to go where? What? If you're talking anime, I've never understood a single line I've ever said. Honest to God, the first anime show I ever did was Project A-ko, and I played not one, not two, but 3 different women on that show, and I went, this show is weird. It's like, oh, Japan. Oh, Japan.
On Transformers Rescue Dante Kids show, Steve Bloom plays Heatwave, which is a fire engine. I'm Chase, which is a police car. But so I'm actually going to use his one because I think it's pretty funny. Is he had a line at one point which was they were in the middle of an emergency and it was I can't do Steve Bloom, but it was pull my hose, it'll spray. The other weird one is working. Liam O'Brien was directing me in something, and the line was something about, "Hello, you've reached Liam O'Brien's phone. I'm not available right now." I'm kidding.
He'll find that. He's gonna Google himself.
Okay. I did a show called Gilgamesh, and it's not a gross show, and it's just sounds out of context, like a really messed up line. They do this thing where they touch heads to share a magical power that they call dynamis. And my character does it too much and kind of gets like heroin addict on it. I'm not even kidding. Gets crazy heroin addict eyes and all this stuff. But anyway, so she's telling someone else to do it, and the line is, "When Usamu did it to me, I bled a little, but after that, I was fine."
Moving on.
Would you mind saying that again?
It's not a gross thing, y'all. It wasn't. It was just the line was gross. Well, not really, but.
I have to sit down for a while.
You have questions, or are you just gonna do your voice again?
Thank you kindly. Now, I have a question for you, Mr. Phil Lamarr. After all this time working on Futurama, why are you still a guest star?
I'm not actually.
You're not.
As of the new seasons, the Comedy Central seasons, I'm not. But yeah, the first 4 seasons, we were guest stars.
Well, the last season, it still lists you as a guest star in the credits.
Your voice just got super weird.
Does it really? I'm gonna have to call my agent. Green shirt. You.
If you guys work on one thing that you're not working on currently, what would it be? If you could pick anything in the world.
Any other job that I'm not working on currently?
What's your dream thing to work on?
Wolverine Triple X.
You've seen the outtakes, have you?
So does he have 3?
Wait a minute, his hands didn't.
Hey, Garb, Wolverine, sweet.
Do you need to rest up, honey? No, I have instant regeneration. Wolverine has never been played right, and I said this earlier, and I did this thing, because Wolverine comes from northern Alberta. Now, I'm a Canadian, I played Wolverine. I'm also Australian, they seem to like that. Blah, blah, blah. So they were going he's got to be, this is a total tangent, sorry, but, it's always like, don't make me get all Canadian on your blah, blah. Go to northern Alberta. That's not how we talk. Up there, I'd be like, give me a freaking Ryan Coke, I'll pound you right now, man. You want to go? I'll freaking do you right here. Freaking Ryan Coke will turn anyone into, that's the real Wolverine. Angry Albert. Sorry, it's spoken to my brain.
I always wanted to play Robin growing up, and I never got to.
Answer the question, Paul.
You make a great Robin.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite character of all modern time in cartoon world, and no part of my plan to take over the world. If there's one role I would love to have done the brain from, and that's, or I just went total man crush on Marie. So I'm like, oh, dude, man, that is just. I have cells from the show. I have stuff in my house that isn't actually little plastic minis. It's like me, man. It's like, dude, what's with the pinky and the brain? It's like, I love that show. I would love to have been him, but I wouldn't have created him the same way that Maurice did. So.
And then you wouldn't have liked the show.
Exactly.
It's a vicious
It's a
cycle.
paradox.
I would have wanted to be in Wizard of Oz, but not a munchkin, which inevitably I probably would have been.
You could be Dorothy.
Hey, Judy Garland was 5'9" or something like that. She was a tiny girl.
I wish that Firefly were still on. I would somehow just be an extra character on that. I don't want to take anyone's job, but I would happily fly on that ship.
I'd just like to say that I worked with Nathan Fillion.
I'd like to say that I had Christmas Eve dinner with Joss Whedon.
met Vincent Price at a post office before he was dead.
I am Alan Tudyk.
Black hat.
I ask this to every voice actor I ever meet. If each of you could have a superpower aside from flight, what would it be?
Aside from flight?
To crap money.
I would like to have the power to magically make money appear and not have it smell.
Damn, you're always thinking one step ahead. You said unplugged. We're unplugged, Scott.
That's all the superpowers we were on.
That's all the superpowers. Moving on. All right.
Real quick, me teleport.
I want to know why you took away flight.
Because everyone will probably do that.
Well, watch this. Take away invisibility and super strength too.
Yeah.
That too.
Or the X-ray vision and ability to detect any woman's change room in the entire world power. What about that? Because that's the one I choose. You can't take that away.
Exactly. All the women in there. You
I know,
see them all.
because
That's
they're
the thing
all
about a
beautiful.
gynecologist. It's not that cool.
And of course, flight is no good without invulnerability because the friction would just burn you up.
That's true.
Science!
So much going Want to do more super with a question? The waiver.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. You with your hand up.
And then you pointing at yourself, going, me?
That's what they choose.
As you know, you did Wolverine in X-Men Evolution. How did you think it feel when they introduced the character X-23?
Hamana. Which of course is weird because like all good comic book relationships, you suddenly go, is this like weirdly incestuous? I don't know. If I'm thinking of the right thing, because I know very little about the universe. Right.
Basically his daughter.
See, that's, yeah.
Is she a daughter or a clone? See, that's different.
Yeah, see, if it's a clone, that's pretty much just playing with
You can do
yourself.
what you want with a clone.
You can't have a clone of yourself that's a different gender.
I'm sorry, motorcycle helmet. That was really creative.
She just wrote in.
So y'all talked about embarrassing stuff at cons. If you guys haven't had any like great, unforgettable, like aw moments at cons from fans or
She's almost done, so.
I'm not getting in trouble.
Always. Yeah, every
Always.
time we come to a convention, for sure. I mean, it's that's best.
She moved over. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I was trying to stay out of your world.
How dare we have a sincere moment? I love you guys.
No. I actually did. I had an inspiration for an answer. Sorry about that. I'm sorry. What was the question? No. I T-mode in Maryland. This really tiny con. She said, we have a VIP thing. It's a small group of people, like 15 people. We want to do like a special panel. What would you recommend? And I go, well, personally, I go to these cons because I like to go to the hot tub. So let's do it in the hot tub. And she's like, okay. They worked it out. I had a panel, it was an hour panel. We had to have a lifeguard for the hot tub. So there's this Russian guy who's our lifeguard. And then it was us in this hot tub. And we didn't even talk about video games or anything. And basically, we'd each go around the circle and answer questions. And it became about, what is important in life? What's the theme of your life? Things like this. We talked about self-esteem. It was so cool that the lifeguard, when the hour was up, he's like, you guys can stay. I'm going to undress and come in with you. And he wants to answer the questions too. It was so beautiful. That was like one of the most beautiful moments I had at a con.
all right.
Scott, why couldn't we do that at the pool?
Yeah.
At night?
Oh,
Whoa! Before you answer that, Scott, know these cameras are rolling.
Yeah, all the VIP members.
That's exactly what we do poolside. It just involves a little bit more tequila, which is the inner philosopher in all of us. The whole experience of coming to cons is so positive and so astonishingly uplifting. And you know, I've shared stories with people at cons that were so moving and so personal, you know, of you know, triumphs and loss and stuff in your worlds. I've had a chance to share some of my stuff. You know, this is an amazing thing, this room we're in. It's really amazing. I mean, we come and it's so much fun and it's all this and it's crazy and it's insanity and it's like we love you and you love. But really, it's an amazing thing that we're all sitting here talking and sharing. And occasionally we do really talk and share. You know, I've had sidebar with people of you know, their lives changing in ways that they were able to sort of facilitate based upon some of the stuff that we do. You know, or they said, you know, it's like, anyway, I mean, like, I've shared a lot of tears at cons, and also you get sort of this affirmation, you know, because I think, you know what, we do silly voices for a living. Wow, we really deserve to be on this planet. You know, get a real job, do something to change the world. And then sometimes you get that feedback of, no, you know, it was watching this show or this character that you actualized, you know, enabled me to get through this situation in life. And you go like, wow.
I
I agree, and that's something that we take back with us too. Like the shared experience of something, especially with for me, you know, this show I think is so inspiring to young people and people of all ages and to me, that when somebody says, you know, watching Cora really got me through a hard time, as someone did today, know that you're telling us that will get us through a hard time. Like, when I'm going through a hard time, knowing that someone else benefited from my work when they were going through something similar makes me feel connected to everybody that I talk to in a completely unique way. And so we're getting as much out of that as you are, and your gift back to us is telling us that, because it helps us when we need to feel better, I think.
I'll just show a quick little story. At a con in Utah, I think. Not Utah. I don't remember. Anyway, my liaison was very excited to work with me, and about like the second day in, as I'm talking to him, getting to know him, and he was like nervous around me, and it turns out that he was a veteran. He had been in he'd done I think 2 tours in Iraq, and one of the things that kind of got him through some of that was playing a video game that I was in, and but he's nervous around me, and I go, he's like thanking me, and I said, no, I'm thanking you. I mean, you went and did stuff that I could never do. I mean, he's talking about how he can't do voices, you know, how it's like how talented I am. I'm like, Jesus, you went out there and you fought for a country with no questions asked, and you know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, please, you're heroes, fucking heroes, and there should be, there you go. You know what I'm saying?
There was a guy waving a black baseball cap over on this side. He's giving up. Oh, there you go. Come on.
I have 2 questions for Phil Lamarr.
How did I know? Although the last guy who said that disappointed me. So.